and that trend continues right on through the weekend. I'm meteorologist Richard DeWetting for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 90 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with four-time SEC champion and two-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking him down.
Here's college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
And welcome into this Thursday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are staying cool, man. Like Chase just mentioned to me, it's definitely heating back up a little bit. I think that's probably expected as we are in the thick of it. Chase, it's the middle of July. I feel like it only gets hotter from here. And probably not the most fun news if you're gearing up for training camp like the football team is. Really only about less than 2 weeks away from training camp, Chase. So it's right around the corner. SEC Media Days takes place next week. So it's kind of here, man. I know I'm jumping the gun just a little bit, Chase, but I mean, how does it feel that we're pretty much back in like the real deal? I'm definitely jumping the gun. It's not back yet, but I think everybody is similar, right? That SEC Media Days is kind of like the start of, would you consider that's the start of college football? SEC Media Days, or is that like the preseason? Maybe it's the preseason to college football, or would you say training camp is really when it starts? How would you label that?
That's a good question, Christian. First of all, it's good to see you, and I think with how big the SEC is with football, it is like a national holiday every Saturday. It is a start of SEC football. I think with just so much going on, so many storylines with SEC this year. Yeah, the SEC Media Days, everybody's tuning in to see what these coaches and players have to say. And for me, it's my favorite time of the year because that's when I started to tell. That's how I got onto it really quickly, especially learning the ropes and being able to, be with you and so many other shows here at Tide. It was really cool. So I'm excited for another great year.
It's definitely gearing up to be a good one. I feel like right now, just kind of taking a look. Of course, we had Josh Pate on the show a couple days ago. If you guys missed that, make sure you guys go check out that interview. It's posted individually or independently, I should say, on our YouTube channel. It's really good stuff, man. I thought we got some good questions in it. He also touched on other programs in the SEC, of course, a couple national contenders as well. But just looking at this the slate that we have, Chase, for college football this season, it really does feel like there's a number of quality teams. There doesn't seem to be like one truly dominant team. I mean, you look at Indiana, who ran the table last year, went undefeated. They've got question marks. I mean, people expect them to be good, probably don't have those same level of expectations that they're just going to run the table again. I guess that's one of the benefits of having this whole NIL transfer portal era. I mean, it seems like talent is really dispersed. A lot of different programs have a chance now. So that is one benefit. I know we complain majority of the time when it comes to NIL and transfer portal, but it has been pretty entertaining, at least in my opinion, to see some of these programs, whether that's Indiana, a Texas Tech, just really kind of step up their game. And I feel like it's kind of balancing some things out. But speaking of NIL, Chase, I don't know if you've seen this. I think this is probably coming up with football really being back. This is one of those other deals, right? Training camp around the corner. Looks like Nike's trying to go ahead and secure their athletes, right? Which is really cool stuff that these guys can now do this in college. It was in the NFL. Once you got to the next level, you would then have the ability, right, to sign with Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, any of those brands, and be an athlete with them. I was fortunate to have an opportunity to be a Nike athlete. And it's nice when you get that credit, Chase. I'm not going to lie to you. You get yourself a little bit of get a login, and you got a little stipend, man. And then there's a catalog of Nike, Jordan products. I'm not going to lie to you, man. It's pretty nice. But again, before you had to be a professional athlete to be considered to do that. Nowadays, college, right? College is literally, you're a professional athlete at this point, man. Nike signing players, which I think they've been doing. I don't think this is like a new thing, but it seems like they're turning it into maybe like a class. Like each year, maybe they'll have like a Nike class that they sign. Alabama, I believe, was it eight players that signed with Nike. And it's kind of interesting when you look at the players who did sign. I think it's kind of maybe foreshadowing who at least Nike feels are going to be some, big time players or players that are probably going to receive some pretty significant recognition. We can go over that list here in a second. We might as well do it now. We got some time in this first segment. I'll throw this on the screen real quick. We'll get a head start. Really pretty smooth graphic right here. I like it, man. It says chase the smoke. And this is Alabama's class. Now, nationally, there's a number of athletes that signed with Nike, but Alabama's kind of leading the charge. It makes you wonder if maybe that trip, I don't know if you remember that, Chase, they took a trip out to Oregon and they visited with Nike in their headquarters. They got to take a look at behind the scenes of the design process. They got to try out different cleats and apparel, I believe, and gear and do some drills with it. Maybe that paid dividends because you look at this, Chase, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 in total individuals from Alabama that signed with Nike. You got Yonze Pierre, Keelan Russell, Bray Hubbard, Cedarian Morgan, who was a true freshman, Xavier Brown, Ryan Coleman-Williams, Dijon Lee, and Xavier Crowell. So I feel like 6 of those guys who are, really, I would say probably 5 of them is almost like expected. Interesting one, you see Keelan Russell, right? Is that Nike kind of foreshadowing that they believe he's the guy at quarterback? If you remember a season ago, it wasn't official that Ty Simpson was going to be the starting quarterback, but with some of the NIL deals that were being signed, it seemed like people had a lot of confidence that he, in fact, was going to be the guy. Of course, you can still be an athlete. You don't have to be like the face of the team necessarily to sign with Nike, but obviously it helps when you're, getting a lot of attention. I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. They went with Keelan Russell, the young phenom quarterback that people have a lot of high expectations for. Then also you see Cedarian Morgan and Xavier Crowell, 2 guys that people definitely believe will be able to contribute in their first year here in Tuscaloosa. Looks like Nike definitely believes that as well. Or I guess it could be a case where maybe they're trying to get a head start, right, Chase? Technically, I mean, they could just say, hey, these guys we expect to make a contribution, a significant impact at some point, whether it's this year or down the road. I don't know how these deals work. Some of these, really about majority of these guys, you expect to move on to the next level. Well, actually, half of them, right? I would say Bray, Xavier, Ryan, and Yonze. So, I mean, I'm sure that's probably like a 1-year deal that maybe they anticipate signing with Nike, of course, once they get into the NFL. But that's really probably what this is about. Nike wants to get that head start with college athletes. That way they kind of got, dibs on them once they do turn pro. And the heat really is turned up. But definitely a solid list, man. It kind of feels like a little bit of a preview of some of the names that we'll probably hear a lot of this season. So, but again, with, Crowell being on there, I think Nike's also kind of buying into his stock as well as Cedarian Morgan. So just thought that was pretty cool stuff there. Again, it's a Thursday, which means we will be joined by Brandon Clear. At 11:30, we'll also have Adam Lamparello, our official representation here on the Miller's Edge. He'll be joining us at the top of the hour. Looking forward to catching up with Adam. It's been a minute. He's been on vacation, enjoying himself as he should. He's a hard worker, man, representing all those folks out there. So we're excited to have him back on the show. We haven't been able to get any updates in terms of, the whole legal stuff that we were following with Adam. So maybe we'll be able to circle back a little bit and get his thoughts on some of those. So if you guys had any questions, because I know it's been a couple weeks, please remind me some of those things that we were discussing with Adam, or some of those questions we might have had. Because I know there was several questions we were like, man, we wish Adam was on here to ask. If you guys remember those, definitely drop them, because we'll definitely do that. And I'm excited we get Brandon Clear on here today, Chase, because Alabama, in fact, picked up a new commitment, right? We've been talking a little bit about recruiting. That's died down a little bit. We're focusing on football now. But Alabama, they flipped a wide receiver, in-state prospect from Auburn. And why not have a former wide receiver that played at the Division I level for Clemson give us his thoughts and analysis? So we'll do that with Brandon Clear here shortly. But first, we will be taking a time out, as we always do, just getting started. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple moments after these quick ads of our great sponsors. We definitely appreciate them and everything that they do to help put this thing on and make it possible. That said, make sure you guys check us out on the streams. If you haven't, if you definitely want to give that a check out, why not? You can watch us do the show. Everything we throw on the screen is cool. You can engage with everybody else in the chat. And we always encourage that. At the Miller's Edge on YouTube, X, at Ty 100.9 on Facebook, of course. And with that said, we'll hit this first time out. When we come back, we'll keep on rolling right here on the Miller's Edge, Ty 100.9, 1230 WTVC. We'll be right back.
Shopping local means supporting local schools and charities.
Shopping local means a relationship. Shop Hudson Pool Fine Jewelers, downtown Tuscaloosa.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama,
We are here, treating patients from every generation,
across the United States,
and from around the world.
We're here for the rookies
And the dreamers,
trying to make a name for themselves.
we are here for the achievers.
who are resilient.
And won't take no for an answer.
We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers and mentors
who are shaping the
9,000. That's 900,000 for a free consultation. No fees unless we win. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than that of other lawyers.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel, a specialty manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rentals. With a proven track record of over 30-plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
Hey, this is Wyatt Fulton from Tide 100.9. Join us starting on July the 20th for SEC Media Days live from Tampa, Florida, presented to you by Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We'll bring you live updates, press conferences, and interviews from all 16 teams in the Southeastern Conference at SEC Media Days 2026 from Tampa, Florida, presented by Pearl River Resort. Join us starting July the 20th for a week of content from Tampa, Florida, live at SEC Media Days 2026, presented to you by Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino in Choctaw, Mississippi.
24/7, 365. We've got all your coverage of the Crimson Tide on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
Into this Thursday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We were talking a little bit briefly just about the announcement of Alabama having 8 players signed with Nike ahead of the season. Really cool stuff. I'm already knowing they're going to be loving that stipend. But here's the thing, man. Chase, you know what's crazy? And I'm not saying they're not going to feel grateful. But when you're already making like 6 figures, you know what I mean? You're driving these nice cars. Is a Nike stipend really as exciting as it was? Like, I hate to say it, but I almost feel like a lot of things that probably should be exciting for these guys, I almost feel like it doesn't hold that same level of just like significance as it once did. I mean, I guess that's like me saying, oh, in the NFL, I was making that and then had a Nike stipend. It's always nice to get quote unquote free things. So, I mean, I guess it still is exciting, but I guess what I'm getting at is, I see these guys, these dudes wear $300, $400 T-shirts. All right, we're talking about like designer T-shirts, Chase. I'm talking about casually just around the complex and stuff. So I'm like, are they even really going to care? But again, Nike's great. Hell, I own Nike stock. I like Nike. I feel like I wear a good bit of it. But like when you kind of are like wearing like designer and all that, Chase, I almost feel like Nike's doesn't even really hold the same weight. Would you agree with that? Listen, I know me and you are completely different. We're a little bit more on the reserve side. We're not busting out, Rick Owens and Hellstar probably more. Maybe you do, Chase. I sure as hell don't. I'm not spending that kind of money on that stuff. But I almost just feel like I don't think these guys are going to go from wearing that to like, oh, I'm going to use these credits for like maybe shoes. But like now that I think about it, like I don't even know if it's going to hold that same weight. Now there are deals where they'll pay you cash too. I would assume maybe a few of those guys are on cash deals. Maybe all of them. I don't know. But typically it's, most of it, they use like the credit system. But then like bigger name guys, you definitely get paid cash on top of that. What do you think, Chase? You think it still holds the same weight for these guys? Like, you think they're still fired up to say it's like a $10,000 Nike allowance for the year? I don't know. I almost feel like it's probably not as like they're probably like, oh, that's cool, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. What do you think?
I think you're right. I think where money is so easy for them to obtain, they can wake up and sign an NIL deal and they're fine. But I think it might be different in terms of because Nike's so big and for you to see like your face on a billboard and to be associated with Nike and to have the contacts that they do from that aspect, yeah. But in terms of like wearing their stuff and stuff like that, you won't probably see that. And it's sad to say that because when I was like covering or watching, football, track and field, all that stuff when I was younger, all the athletes wanted to be a Nike athlete. Someone wanted to be Adidas, and rare was it Under Armour, but
nobody want to be. It's straight Nike. I'm an athlete too. I play football too. Yeah. See, McGill, we was sponsored by Adidas, but I always wanted to be Nike.
Yeah, I mean, because growing up, Nike was the brand. I feel like there's been, it is, but you would be shocked, Norris, because in the sports world, yeah, Nike's still probably superior. But I will just be honest with you, man. Nike as a brand, they haven't been doing so hot. I mean, not to keep talking about stocks and stuff, but I do own Nike stock, and I can tell you it ain't doing too hot. A company, because, and you know what's funny? It's not even so much from the competitors in the sports space. It's actually like the athleisure brands, right? Like the Lululemons and the, golly, I'm drawing a blank.
I know, because I bought my girl Lululemon last night.
Yeah, it probably hit your pockets a little bit too. What's the other one Aloe? Those brands have really challenged Nike. So Nike has kind of took a dip. But in terms of the sports world, like you're saying, yeah, everybody wants to be a Nike athlete. And Chase, you said it best. That in itself, just to be able to say that, again, when I signed with Nike, brother, I got my credits. I wasn't getting no cash, no nothing. Yeah. I was just grateful because like somebody in the chat said, who don't want free stuff? And I didn't wear all that designer crap. I shouldn't call it crap. I shouldn't call it crap. But I didn't wear all the designer stuff. Like I liked just Nike outfits. So I use those credits. I bought like Nike golf apparel so I could be on the golf course looking clean, Nike polo looking like Tiger Woods. They used to let you buy like golf clubs on the site, but now I look back on it, man, and I still got a lot of the stuff I was buying on there. But I bought like a lot of shoes. I honestly wasted a bunch of those credits on stuff that I really didn't need. But but even just being able to say like, hey, yeah, I signed with Nike. I think that in itself is cool, whether it's credits or cash, whatever the deal may be. But they also signed. I mean, and Nike's smart for getting in on these guys early because if you look at other top athletes that also sign with Nike. I mean, there's a whole list of other players. Now, I don't know in terms of how we compare, like for the number of players we had signed, that seems like a lot, but I also saw that Trinidad Chambliss, quarterback, and, Kwan Lacey, quarterback, running back combo at Ole Miss, they both signed with Nike. Cam Coleman, Colin Simmons. So, I mean, Nike, they're getting a head start on some of the top players in the country, which makes sense, but just another great asset that these college players now have that we never could have signed with Nike like that. And again, this is not new, but I think it's something that they're probably doing more of. I think before you saw a guy here or there that was signed with the brand. Now it's like, hey, they're taking on classes each year. And I think it makes total sense. But shout out to those guys, man. That's dope. If they want to donate some apparel to the show, we'll take I don't know. I mean, I really don't need clothes. I don't need clothes like that, but I'll take a gift. Let's see what else. Before we get Brandon clear on here, again, we mentioned Alabama flipping wide receiver target from Auburn. I really want to get Brandon's thoughts and analysis on this since he played the position. But a lot of people fired up about this, Chase, especially knowing that you're a little bit in limbo right now, waiting on Sales to make his decision. I'll be honest with you. I don't think this is necessarily like writing on the wall that he's not going to choose Alabama, but it just seems like more than likely he's probably not going to choose Alabama. I'm not saying he can't, but I don't know. It kind of feels like that. But the good news is you flip a young man like Cedric Simmons from Auburn, who, I get it, another 3-star prospect. A lot of people just go off the stars. They're not going to be blown away by it, but just watching the young man, completely different skill set and body type than a guy like Sales. But you got to be careful just going off just the surface level things when you look at these players, because I'll be the first one to tell you guys, man, he's an impressive player. I mean, I've only seen highlights, but he's explosive. Now, he's not very tall. I think he's only like 5'9", but his route running, I mean, he definitely looks like he's got that juice to him. I've seen him make these acrobatic catches. For a shorter guy, you can tell he's one hell of an athlete and probably has a pretty significant vertical leap, because, I mean, he high points the football and he'll go up and grab it. And I'll be honest, man, I mean, he might be a 3-star, but I feel like he's definitely a little bit better of an athlete than his rating probably says about him. But I'm curious to get Brandon's thoughts since he played the wide receiver position. We'll dive into it with him. We'll throw on a couple of these highlights. I also saw that he was at, I think, the opening or one of those camps with Elijah Haven. They had a nice connection there, which was dope. But I think it's a great pickup, man. I think it's a great pickup. He just reminds me of one of those short, speedy guys that can really just make plays. Probably has some really nice yards after the catch ability with his explosiveness, with that make you miss type of ability. And I don't know. It's never a bad thing to have those kind of guys. Could have some return ability too. I don't know, but it seems like a nice little pickup. And we'll get Brandon's thoughts on that because he just popped up down below, and that means we'll go ahead and hit our timeout. When we come back, we'll be joined by Brandon Clear, former Clemson wide receiver, and get his thoughts on new Alabama wide receiver commit Cedric Simmons, in-state product to flip from Auburn. We'll do that on the other side right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
Hey, this is Wyatt Fulton from Tide 100.9. Join us starting on July the 20th for SEC Media Days live from Tampa, Florida, presented to you by Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We'll bring you live updates, press conferences, and interviews from all 16 teams in the Southeastern Conference at SEC Media Days 2026 from Tampa, Florida, presented by Pearl River Resort. Join us starting July the 20th for a week of content from Tampa, Florida, live at SEC Media Days 2026, presented to you by Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino in Choctaw, Mississippi.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel. A specialty manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rentals. With a proven track record of over 30-plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Thursday edition of The Game, we're going to have a chance to catch up with All-American offensive lineman Mike Johnson, radio host over in the Atlanta area. We'll talk with Mike Johnson. We'll have a chance to talk with Rodney Orr. Nick Kelly stops by. We'll talk Alabama, Crimson Tide football. SEC Media Day certainly on our mind as we get ready for Tampa. Right here on The Game, starting at 2 p.m. with Ryan Fowler on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
The longest-running sports talk show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and 1230 a.m. WTBC. And streaming worldwide on the free Tide app.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Yes! Roll Tide all the time. This is Tide 100.9 and 1230 a.m. WTBC. The home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
100.9, 1230 WTBC. We're now joined by Brandon Clear, former Clemson wide receiver. Works perfect because I want to talk some wide receiver play, man, because Alabama, as I'm sure you just saw, Brandon, Cedric Simmons, he just flipped from Auburn to Alabama. One committed to Auburn very long, man. Almost makes you wonder, did he do the old okey doke, try to get a quick little bag, and then ended up coming where he wanted to come on? I'm just kidding. I'm not saying that he would do that, but I wouldn't be shocked if he got a little bit of money to pull that trigger on Auburn. Anyway, he ends up flipping to Alabama. On the surface, of course, people are going to see another 3-star prospect, in-state guy. I don't know where he's ranked in the state or nationally, whatever, but I just know he's a 3-star. People are probably going to dismiss that a little bit, but taking a look at his tape, Brandon. Now, again, I trust your analysis a lot more than mine, but I know a little something about receiver play. Now, I'll say, man, he's intriguing to watch. I mean, much different of a prospect than maybe a guy that they were hoping to land in sales. Not saying it can't happen. I don't think this means that's completely out of the picture, but I mean, I think right now it's not really probably looking too hot to maybe land sales. I could be wrong. Anyway, that said, Cedric Simmons, man, a shorter type of receiver, more of that slot kind of guy, but he's explosive. You know, I've seen these clips, man, of him just getting in and out of breaks, man. He can cut on a dime. You know, high point in the football. For a shorter guy, you can tell he's probably got a vert that's probably pushing 40 inches, if not more. I mean, he looks like a playmaker. Yards after the catch ability. He's probably going to be making some folks miss. I don't think it really matters where you're ranked, Brandon. If you're that type of athlete, you can make plays on a football field, especially when it comes to putting these guys in position, moving them around, doing different things, maybe even have some return ability. What are your thoughts on the new Alabama wide receiver commit?
So I got to take a little bit of look at his film last night, and quite frankly, I was surprised. You know, usually when you hear some guys coming in those lower levels, especially in Alabama, you don't really give him much stock, and he has great hands. So that's the first thing that pops in my head. I'm always watching hands. I want to see how you catch the ball over the shoulder. Are you a natural hands catcher? Are you a guy that gets kind of stiff when the ball's in the air? He's not that. He has natural hands. He is small, but he's awkwardly built. He has extremely long arms and big hands for being the size he is. They said he's like 5'8". So they're exaggerating this. From what I'm seeing on film, when I'm seeing him, I was like, he's not 5'10". I could be wrong on that. I'm just looking. I was like, he's not that tall, but he has big hands and long arms. So it's very interesting to see that. And he just plucks everything. And I agree with you, man. His in and out ability to be able to get it out, create separation. I think that's one of the fears. He was playing outside primarily from what I was seeing. He's a slot receiver. And I don't know how he's going to adjust in playing in the slot. Maybe he does that a little bit more in his senior year. But when he gets to the college ranks, he's got to play in the slot. He doesn't obviously have the same burst as like a Lottie or anything like that, but he gets open. He has a lot of just natural traits and feel for the position. I don't think he'll get higher than a 3-star just because of the measurables. You can't, unless you're a 4'2" guy and you're that size, there's no way that you can get above a certain amount. It's reality. And how people assess, just athletes in general, specifically coming out of high school, a lot of it is height, weight, and speed. And so if you don't have that, if he was 6 foot, he'd be a top 200 player. Just based off what I'm seeing and him going in. I saw some of him even doing one-on-ones at camps. And he was creating separation. He was catching everything, and he was competing. And I saw his interview, man. You can tell he's about business. So I think he's going to be a sneaky good pickup. Auburn clearly wanted him, and they'll probably try to dismiss it because they ended up flipping. And in my opinion, I think he always wanted to go to Alabama, but Alabama had to shift the interest in a different direction momentarily. And then when that opportunity presented itself, he flipped right back over. So I think again, people are not going to be impressed because he's a 3-star. And I know a lot of Alabama fans, they all want to see the stars come in. I get that. Munchun sales, I don't think he's coming. It's just, to me, I think it's going to be Texas or it's going to be Indiana. I'm leaning Indiana. Texas just because of the money. I don't think he has any affiliation with Texas beyond the money. Alabama, I think, is his favorite team. So 2 things can be true. He gives Indiana a year, see how things go, and then there's no telling he may come over in the future. So you just keep maintaining that relationship. You just never know how it sets in. But I agree with you, how they've put up Osani, and they've moved in and picked up a couple other receivers. in my opinion, I think the coach is kind of leaning and saying, hey, I don't think we're getting Munchausen, so we just got to go ahead and get some depth. We're going to lose some key pieces in the coming years, so let's go ahead and just make this thing go in 27. So give him all the credit, man. I think he's a sneaky talent. He came to camp. They seen him in person. So I think that, in my opinion, really drove the decision for them to make sure they kept the pressure on to bring him back into the fold. And so Simmons is going to be one of those players, man. Just look out for him. He'll be sneaky. You won't hear a lot about him in certain pieces, but he'll somehow always find his time and place on the field.
We're joined by former Clemson wide receiver Brandon Clear. Brandon, from your experience playing the position, right, regardless of star ranking, you know, how easy or how difficult maybe is it to come in and try to earn early playing time at the receiver position? I know, listen, at edge, me being 205, I knew I was a year or two out, right? I mean, anybody that knew football would say, yeah, he's got to put on some weight, especially the system that we played back then. You know, we didn't have the same athleticism on the edge. We had guys 265. I had to develop, but for a wide receiver, I feel like from, you know, a physical standpoint, it's a little bit easier to get on the field. But in just terms of playing the position, maybe from the technical side, learning, you know, how to play. Because, I mean, I know, listen, route running is route running, but when you're in college, I can tell you one thing. Coverages are different. The technique those corners are going to play. I mean, some guys aren't really used to having to go against a true press man. And then you're talking about a 6'2" or like we have 6'3", 6'4" corners. I mean, your release has to be a little bit different on the college level. How do you see a guy like this maybe trying to potentially earn some early playing time, and just from your experience doing it?
So it's crazy. So I was a 3-star coming out, and I probably would have had more stars if I was at Hoover for longer. So I was only at Hoover for a year. And so my development was a bit stymied because I was playing in those lower tier schools from my freshman to junior year. And, you know, and I was actually playing, I was two-way. I was a safety. And I ended up playing part-time receiver. And then my junior year, I was still doing part-time thing. When you get to Hoover, they're like, you're playing one or the other. We're bringing you in as a receiver. Again, my development was a bit stymied, but I was a top 15 player in Alabama. You know, not to boost or brag on that, but when I got
talk your stuff, bro. Talk your stuff.
Yeah. So when I got to Clemson, in my opinion, I got redshirted because of the guys that were there. Not because I wasn't ready to play. So we had Aaron Kelly. We had Tyler Grisham. They had a whole bunch of receivers, Jacoby Ford. All these receivers were there. There was only one ball. We got C.J. Spiller. We got James Davis. We have all the talent. And Coach Sweeney pulled me aside. I was like, I don't want you wasting a year getting part-time play. And so, but when I came in during the summer, bro, I was dominating, but not for the fact that, you know, you already know this, Christian, when you're third string, the first string goes, they're going to typically run the same plays. Second string goes, they're going to run 3 to 4 same plays. And by the time it's third string, you are literally repeating what you see. Yep. So I was able to see and do that. It's very easy. But when I was getting into the games, I literally would have the challenge of I didn't understand defenses. I didn't understand technique. I was like, basically the best way to describe it, I played like Mike Evans. I was like, I'm a bully. You can't, I can get off the ball anytime I want to because I'm going to physically impose my will on you. And I would literally blast dudes off the ball to the point where I was getting in fights with Byron Maxwell, bro, who played for Seattle Seahawks. We were getting in fights because they were so angry that I would come off of that type of physicality. Simmons doesn't have that same level of physicality, so he has to understand the game. And when you have height, weight, speed, you can get away with certain things. Just like Martavis Bryant for Clemson, he didn't know coverages, but that dude was 6'4" and ran a 4.34. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, run deep, run post. That's all. We know you're coming in the game for that, so we can go ahead and create a lane for you to where you may just be in on red zone. And so Simmons is not going to have that luxury. So depending on the guy, Munchausen Sells is one of those guys. He has height, weight, speed. When he comes in, I don't care if he knows coverages. We'll figure it out together, bro. Randy Moss, a prime example. Run deep, run a post, run a slant. I'll tell you to play. I just need you to get the balls in your hand and make a play. And so that's where you have to be able, that's where the tiers come in, Christian. Like, you got to know who you're dealing with. Ryan Williams was one of those guys. He's very smart. A lot of people discount this. He's extremely smart because I watch to see if he understands coverages. When he runs routes, he understands coverages. His only challenge is when he moved to the slot, that was the first time he was doing and looking at the field from the slot, it changes. Now you have to deal with the linebackers. Now you have to understand safety, high-low. Now you got to understand the leverage of the corners. Are they playing quarters? All those things are happening. And then, oh, by the way, you got to remember the route that you're running. That changes based off the coverage you're running. So all of these things will cause anxiety typically for a guy if he doesn't understand the game of football. And so if Simmons, it seems like Simmons is a sharp dude. If he can come in and he understands defenses and he understands coverages and he understands routes and tempo and all these different things, they won't be able to keep him off the field because he'll create, because he has great hands. He's not a burner. He's smart. And Slade was another one. Slade was extremely smart. Slade is an underrated receiver at Alabama, in my opinion, because he did all the dirty work. But he just he understood football. And when I watched him, I was like, this guy just understands it. He could go in motion, and if the picture changed when he got to the other side, he already knew what he had to do. That's why Bryce trusted him. And you see the trust that happens when guys are in the right place at the right time, and the ball just happens to find them. So, in my opinion, his ceiling would be to be able to have like a role like Slade, or he may have something to where he's just kind of a guy that comes in certain positions or maybe in the red zone because he has such great hands that he's just someone you just got to get in there and get his hands on the ball. But because his height, weight, speed, I just think he's going to have limited abilities to make an impact outside of just being a knower of all things and showing the coaches that he has an understanding of the game.
Brandon, I want to ask you in terms of, we talked briefly about Monchon Sales. Don't necessarily have a bunch of confidence that he ends up landing here, but what does that mean for this Alabama wide receiver room moving forward? Say they don't land Sales. I know, I think Kyle from Bama Football on YouTube, various people talking about kind of, is he a must-have type of guy? When you look at the current roster, you do have bigger body guys, but I think people have to remember just because you have the same body type doesn't mean you necessarily have the same play style. Meaning, I look at Derek Meadows, he's more of a primarily X wide receiver. I don't think he has nearly as much versatility, say maybe even Cedarian Morgan, who's also a big body receiver, but has shown the ability to be able to play inside, kind of work like you just talked about, understanding the concepts of playing in the slot versus on the outside at X. Do you believe, if, say they don't land Monchon Sales, do you still feel confident in some of those other big body receivers, whether they're more similar to Sales? And I'll be honest, I haven't seen a whole bunch of Sales. I did hear he's similar to what you talked about with Brian and those guys, kind of take the top off the defense, great speed. He's a big body receiver, but has elite speed for his size. If they don't land him, what's your feel on the wide receiver room moving forward with the current guys we have, and then maybe adding Simmons and also a guy like Gales to the equation?
Yeah, I really like Gales. And, he's not going to get a bunch of pub just because his stats weren't great, but you got to look where he was playing. He's playing IMG. And so, that's another situation where you got a whole bunch of 5 stars, 4 stars on the team. The ball is going to go ahead and find its way around because you got to keep the dogs fed. So I think Gales is a great player. They have so Cedarian to me has that versatility. I got to see it in college reps. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it seems like he has enough speed, very similar to me. I was fast, but it didn't look like I was moving fast because I was a strider. Yeah. And when you saw Julio run, it looked like he was running fast. You know what I'm saying? Like it was different. But Julio was a 4.340, but it was how he ran. You know,
the knee drive, man. Them knees be driving, boy.
Hey, bro.
Yeah,
I competed with the dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we competed in the triple jump. I'm like, I've never seen anything like this in my life. And so when you see an athlete that has that type of agility and also size, it looks different on film. So Monchon Sales, he has that. And it sticks out. Derek Meadows, to me, I think he's a good player, a little stiff. And maybe the stiffness is because he's wearing number 30. I'll be real with you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I come out wearing 90, you automatically look at me a certain way. You know what I mean? Even if I'm nice with him, like, he look a little stiff. Like, but in the spring game, he was making plays. At that goal line, he went ahead and made some plays. He's a true X. I think he does a great job of blocking. But he does, to me, I think he looks a little stiff. Cedarian has more fluidity in his game. Even that's why you said looks like he can play in the slot. He can because he's a little bit more agile and just understands the grace and how to just be able to maneuver from the slot. That is a unique skill set. And if you're a big body that can play in the slot, that's to your advantage. So I think you keep Cedarian in the slot just because I think that adds a little bit more versatility, and he could play out at X. I don't think you put him at Z just because you got to have some speed. Z, you have to have speed because you're to the field. You got to be able to get open, be able to create some awareness because now in my opinion, most of the time, the best corners are typically out to the field because you have more grass to cover. So you got to be a dog to be able to play Z. Everyone else, I think that in my opinion, if they miss out on Munchausen Sales, it's not the end of the world, but they need to make sure they're keeping to get size in these classes because, again, the wideouts were very rare. You don't typically find receivers or a group of receivers that are all below 6'1" that have that much of dominant traits. Like each one of them were dominant in their own way, but they weren't big at all, right? Cooper was a big dude.
Yeah. I don't know if people realize that Coop was built. Now, I mean, like I remember because I used to be lined up on him on scout team, and I'm like, yeah, Coop is not small. I mean, he's at least 6'1", and he was built. Like he was not skinny. Yeah, he was, but he still was. Talk about route running, man.
Man. I was watching when they played Mississippi, and when Mississippi was number 1 and Dak Prescott was on the team, he was making some catches. I was like, this is unreal. Double covered, running from the slot. That's somebody that I'm telling he could play every position, didn't matter. He probably could have been a great running back just because he just had the physicality to his game. Yeah. So that if I'm the staff, man, I am focused on making sure I have that plethora of talent, plethora of height, weight, speed, but getting size that can move is so unique and difficult that you're always going to find when you see a Munchausen Sales, it's going to be difficult to bring them in because you already know Texas is going to be going after them. You know, Ohio State's going to be going after them. But the playing field for Ohio State pulling in every receiver is now it's equal. They don't, in my opinion, because Hartline left. Hartline is an underrated coach. The development that he had with those receivers is going to be, you're going to see it. You're going to see it moving forward. Yeah. Ohio State, I don't think is going to be putting out the same clip, but they do get the talent.
I was about to say, the only thing I would say, Brandon, is success recruits itself. And when you do look at, you're right, Hartline was probably, I'm not saying the sole reason, but he was the big piece behind that success at the wide receiver position. I mean, you see Chris Henry, I think they just got another top recruit.
They did.
I think for this class, if I saw that right, I mean, man, the talent they get at the receiver position is stupid, man. Then you just look at the guys that they pumped out. First-round receiver after first-round receiver, and all different body types.
But Chris,
I'll be honest with you, that's crazy. It is. That is probably some of the top-tier development. You're talking about consistency at a high level, just elite wide receiver play year after year, different body types, different. I mean, yeah, Hartley, right? Hartline. Did he get a head coaching job?
He did, man. I think he's at USF.
See how that goes. I mean, head coaching is a whole different world, but I mean, if he can get some receivers like that.
The offense will be humming.
Yeah.
Again, receiver is it's fickle, bro. It's got to be the right place, right time, right opportunity, and everything has to be able to fall into place to where you're getting the balls thrown to you. And it's just not as easy as everyone thinks. So last year with Ryan, I think he was pressing a little bit even more because I think the opportunities were a bit more limited. This year, he'll have an absorbent amount of opportunities. So that kind of lifts some of those stressors that he had of saying, I got to make this play at this moment or I won't see the ball for an entire quarter. That gives pressure because you know the ball is not coming the way that you think it should. They're going to get him early and often into the offense where he might be running bubble screens. He might be running reverses. They're like, just give him some early touches. Pretty much how they used him for the Georgia game in that first half. That's how you have to get Ryan involved in the game. Give him short, easy catches to make some plays. Then you turn up the heat.
That was, and I know we got to get to this timeout, but I'll just say this on that note. That was one of the frustrations I had, and I feel like where they kind of put him in a bad spot, meaning I think it felt like Grubb was not staying consistent with him, right? And I understand if a guy's kind of struggling. You got Isaiah Horton, Jeremy Bernard, which Jeremy Bernard was the clear favorite and the consistent guy. But I just don't think you're doing a guy like Ryan Coleman Williams justice when you almost completely remove him out of the picture, right, when he is struggling, right? I think that just further accelerates the lack of confidence, and it doesn't help him get it back. And like you said, just getting him touches, you know what I mean? Getting them ready, getting them warmed up. I think you just have to do that. I think the example is you see in the NFL. I mean, some of your best receivers, they'll have games, they got 3 drops. I mean, you know what I mean? But they keep going to them. They don't just. Yeah, if they're the number one wide receiver, they're going to keep going to them. Don't think for a second. CeeDee Lamb, some of these guys have games where they're struggling.
Hey, man.
Dak don't just stop throwing them the ball.
What's somebody that played Ohio State that's with the Cardinals?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right, he drops a lot of balls, man. And that dude was the second coming. It happens. It does. Yeah. But guess what? Ryan this year, he should come back and say, Coach, I'm so tired. I don't need any more balls. You already threw me 10. That Tennessee game, you remember that where they targeted him like 17 times?
Yeah.
That's an extreme, but it's going to get to that part where him and Lottie be saying like, hey, man, one of y'all get in there, I'm tired. You got to be able to want the ball, yes, but the coach's responsibility, Grubb, being like, you're going to be tired of getting the ball. You're going to be asking me to take you out because that's how much we need you to be a part of the game plan. And to your point, Christian, that's where the confidence comes from because my coach believes in me. He's like, I need you in the game. I need you to have the ball. We're going to keep going to you. And so if you have a drop, don't worry about it. Dust it off. I'm coming right back to you. I'm calling your number. That's what they have to start doing. I think Ryan started. You remember every time he dropped the ball, what did they do?
Take him out. Yeah, and see that was my move. Yeah, and that's why I feel like coaching wise, that was something that they probably could have been better at last year because I think it killed his confidence. And then they're probably, like you said, overthinking. Because, I mean, even like, for example, like for us, like Coach Saban was so hard on us that sometimes, like when I would get in, when I was like 2016, and we had, Ryan and Tim in front of me, but I would get opportunities, but I would be like, man, I'm limited on my opportunities, man. I don't want to mess up because I mess up. They're going to be reluctant to put me back in. And so it kind of held me back from really, like my senior year, I was that dude.
Yep.
So, I mean, I didn't have that in the back of my head where I'm like, no, man, like, I'm cool. I'm just going to go and play my game. I'm not worried about that. So that does play a factor, especially for a wide receiver, without a doubt. Man. And then I think with him being the guy in that room, I know you still got Latia Brooks and some other talent, don't get me wrong, but it just felt even like the spring, like it felt like his confidence, like at least scrimmage number one, right? I mean, it looked like we saw kind of that Ryan again, where he kind of was taking over, making plays. He was feeling it. That's the Ryan they need. And I think if you get that version of Ryan, I think it's only going to help this offense. Of course, we need the offense line to come together. We need the running game to be better. But
he can
when you lose Bernard, you lose Bernard and lose Horton, you need some guys that can step up. Can't just be Lottie. You know what I mean? I don't want to overly depend on a true freshman in Sadaria Morgan. I think Ryan this year is huge. I think you have to have him back.
If he's not at 1,200 yards, they failed. If he doesn't have at least 9 touchdowns, they failed. Wow. I don't care. I didn't say 9 receiving touchdowns. I said 1,200 yards. That could be any combination of things. He needs to have the ball in his hands. I don't care how you do it. Line him up at running back. Be like, again, there's a reason why he changed his name, his number, his hair. Because he's like, I'm going back to who I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he genuinely is like, this is who I am. I'm number one. I've got the dreads going. I'm feeling my swag. I'm locked in. And it's a mentality, bro. Like, look, Deion said, if you look good, you feel good. Like all those things are true. It's a mentality. So Ryan lost a little bit of himself last year for various reasons. We don't know all the reasons. But I could tell this year he has a very reminiscent feel of what he had his freshman year. And that's a good sign. He's just now older, bigger, stronger, faster. And hopefully he has a better mental capacity to be able to take on some of those struggles because it's going to happen, bro. Like, you're going to drop balls. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I was like you, Christian. I couldn't mess up. Yeah. My last play at Clemson, bro. Yeah. I dropped a pass against Miami. That was my last play. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like that, bro. Like, my coach, all the things and factors, it ultimately is within your control. If I hadn't dropped, if I had caught that ball, my trajectory would have been completely different. But I didn't seize the opportunity. Ryan is going to have multiple opportunities, so he should feel less stress in going into those environments, noting that I am the guy, I will make the plays, and they're going to at least give me 10 targets a game. That's where it should, unless they're double teaming, because the Florida State game, they were all eyes on Ryan. He couldn't breathe without 3 defenders looking at him, and that's how it was. Go ahead and let one of them do single coverage on him, see how that goes. I'm just don't get.
Listen, I mean, he got that amount of targets in 24. I mean, and you saw. I mean, the dude was a production machine. I mean,
watch that Vanderbilt catch along the
sideline. Yeah,
bro,
that was
that's not human.
Yeah,
I don't think. Look, I love your dad, man, but I'm like this. He said he got to catch the ball. I'm like, bro, if you catching the ball and you look like that, I don't care. You can have 10 drops. I'm going to keep throwing you the rock because eventually
you got to keep going to him.
Hey,
You're 100% right on that. Mm-hmm. Brandon, great conversation, man. I always love getting your opinion and analysis, especially on receivers. You played it, you understand it, and it's always really informative. So we appreciate you hopping on and talking. Of course, next week, man, we got SEC Media Days. Of course, training camp in a couple weeks. So heat's about to be turned up, man. Looking forward to continue getting you on here and talking some more football, bro.
There it is. And Christian, I know you're going to keep it real, Miller's Edge family, always. And I'll talk to y'all next week.
Yes, sir. Sounds like a plan, brother. Roll Tide. Appreciate you, man. Good stuff, man. We got to hit this top of the hour break. When we come back, we'll be joined by none other than Mr. Adam Lamparello Law. We got some catching up to do. We'll do that on the other side, right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTVC.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Byer.
At the 154th Open Championship at Royal Birkdale, Sung J M and Daniel Brown continue to hold the lead at 4 under par. There's a group of players one shot back at -3, including Bryson DeChambeau, who shot 67 today. Also, 2018 winner Francesco Molinari. He's in at 3 under, as is Scotland's Robert McIntyre. At 2 under par, Scotty Scheffler, coming off of a missed cut a week ago at the Scottish Open. Scheffler shoots 68 today. Also, 2016 champion Henrik Stenson in at -2. Couple of other notables, Tommy Fleetwood and John Rahm are at 1 under par. Victor Hovland is even par. Justin Rose finishes at +5.
No taxes. Again, don't forget to save big this weekend at all 3 locations of Urban's. Tell them Van the Bootman sent you.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation across the United States and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers trying to make a name for themselves. We are here for the achievers
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors
who are shaping the next generation of legends.
We are here for you,
aggressively pursuing
victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Keep the water handy and stay cool heading into a scorching hot close to the week, and the hot temperatures persist through the weekend. Blazing sunshine, 92, light westerly breeze, clear and warm tonight, mild 74. Friday and Saturday even hotter, mid-90s, feeling like 105 with afternoon thunderstorm chances, and that trend continues right on through the weekend. I'm meteorologist Richard DeWetting for Town Square Media Tuscaloosa.
It's 90 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with 4-time SEC champion and 2-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking him down.
Here is college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
And welcome back into this Thursday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Big thanks to Brandon Clear, who just joined us via the stream. Former Clemson wide receiver, got his thoughts and analysis on Alabama's newest commit for the 2027 class, Auburn flip, Cedric Simmons, in-state product. Really good conversation there. I think I'm going to clip that and post that separately for you guys that want to talk some football and especially about the wide receivers, man. I thought that was really good stuff. And, of course, we got even better stuff coming. I shouldn't say better like that. We got even more good stuff coming up right now with Adam Lamparello, Lamparello Law. And, of course, we haven't heard from Adam in a couple weeks. He's been on vacation, getting himself a tan, working out, getting in shape. And now we got him back, and we got plenty of catching up to do. So we're excited to do that. Adam, welcome in.
Hey, Christian, thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Always, man. No, always a pleasure having you on here. It's always fun. I know we just were talking briefly, and I want to jump right into it again. You being the lawyer that you are, we always love getting your expertise on things. I know we've been following along several things, one of those being that situation with Terrion. I know last we talked, I think they had just had like the bail hearing, and he was granted that bail. And, of course, everything seems to be in a little bit more of a, I don't want to say a positive light just yet, because it is from what it was the first time we discussed it, but it's still, I mean, I feel like there's a long road ahead. I mean, we just were talking about during the break, it's kind of crazy how it goes from, I guess, you hear the headlines of life in prison possibility, you're charged with these things, and you're seeing the photos and the hearing, and it is terrible. Then he's, I guess, approved for bail. And now we're hearing the latest is there's several teams that are interested in signing Terrion. I think even one brought him in for a workout. He's not going to be required to wear that GPS monitor. That would probably be an issue, I would imagine, playing with that. I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. I don't know if I've ever heard of anybody playing professional football. I know we see videos and skits and people being funny, but I don't think I've ever seen that in the National Football League. And maybe it's happened before. Anyway, he's not going to worry about that. This is what I want to ask you, Adam. Number one, your latest thoughts on the situation, given the latest details that we've seen. And two, one thing that I've really started to kind of wonder is, with there being such a quick turnaround in terms of just kind of the perception of the situation, and now we're hearing teams already looking at maybe signing him. I know training camp is coming up for the NFL very soon, just like it is for college. But, I mean, we're hearing the lawyers talk about the next 45 days, which that was like a week or two ago. So maybe the next month he could be on a team participating in training camp with this thing still looming. Do you believe that is any indication that maybe these NFL teams may have some type of news that might not be out there, or something that's giving them a little bit more confidence at signing a guy that kind of has such a serious, I guess, accusation looming over him? I mean, what are your thoughts on the latest?
Yes, I think they do. And I think you can describe this situation in 3 words: rush to judgment. Initially, everyone thought, oh, Arnold's facing 100 years in prison. He's likely guilty. The evidence is going to be so damning. And now what we find out, number one, he's rightfully granted bond, because the only times when you're not granted bond, it's called pretrial detention, is when you are a grave threat to the community or you are a severe flight risk, neither of which applied to Terrion. He was rightly given bail. But then this development about 3 or 4 teams being interested in bringing him on their roster tells me one thing. These GMs are very risk-averse people. They care about their brand and they care about their image. Exactly. They spoke to him directly, and he gave them enough information that satisfied them that he would win an acquittal at trial, or maybe the charges would even be dismissed. So there's a lot more information here that we don't know, and it seems favorable to Terrion. And with the lawyer that he has, I am very confident that this will go to trial. And if the prosecution's evidence is resting simply on the testimony of the other individuals who were already charged and who are trying to cut a better deal for themselves, I see the foundation of reasonable doubt and an acquittal, and Terrion moves on with what will be a great football career.
What's the process normally like, Adam, in terms of like the length of a process? Like, how long could this? I know it varies. I mean, sometimes the state feels like they need more time. I know there can be delays. It depends on the state. Some states probably move faster than others. What's like the time frame for something like this, say a word to go to trial? I mean, how far out are we looking? Because he's on bail. And let's just say, so does that mean if the trial wasn't until 2028? I mean, while he's on bail, he could just be playing a season or two, say this season, the next. Maybe if he has cases, would he just fly from wherever his next stop might be back to I don't know if you've ever experienced an NFL athlete doing this, but like if you had to guess what that process could look like, how would you see that playing out?
Sure. So the time between when a case is charged and goes to trial varies significantly depending on the severity of the case, the number of defendants, the number of charges. It can be a matter of months to a matter of years before it goes to trial. In Terrion's case, I would probably estimate it'll go to trial in less than a year because the discovery, the information, the evidence is not so substantial or voluminous that it's going to create tremendous delays. Of course, you still have to deal with the judge's docket, but I would say within a year it goes to trial, and I'm predicting now a positive result for him. In the meantime, he's out on bond, and when you're out on bond, you're subject to specific conditions imposed by the court. I'm very, very confident that there will be negotiations, or if they haven't happened already, that he will be allowed to play football pending the outcome of his case, which is the right result because, like every other American, he's innocent until proven guilty.
Absolutely. And then I guess one other thing I'm just curious about, you mentioned right now, at least what's come out is that they're going off the confessions of two other individuals that were also charged in this matter. I believe they've already pleaded guilty, and we all know, I mean, that's one thing that you see normally when there's multiple people that are charged with the crime. Somebody or some of them end up cooperating, which can in turn help themselves out. So my question to you, Adam, is as of now, it seems as if, at least according to the bond hearing, there's not much other evidence that he really took part, or, I mean, I don't think they mentioned initially text messages. Come to find out, it was just his name was mentioned. It's not like his phone was involved. And now I think they've even said that their stories have changed to where they don't even confirm or know if he in fact was there at all. Because I think initially they mentioned that he rode there at the end of it. I don't know, but it seems like that's not even concrete. When it comes to confessions like this, how much weight does that hold versus, like, if I guess what I'm saying is, if that is the only evidence that they have, I mean, how much in favor is that more towards him or I guess the prosecutor, given that, I mean, a confession of someone else is one thing, but if there's no other physical evidence, I mean, I'm assuming that's pretty strong in his favor?
It's very strong in his favor because the validity of a confession depends on the credibility of the confessor. And what you have here are two people, two criminals who have essentially sold him out. And that calls into question the reliability of their confession. And it also begs this question. If I was his defense attorney, the first question I would ask these two gentlemen is I would say, show me one text message, one email, one letter, anything written down that suggests that the defendant knew about and orchestrated this. Where is it? And they're going to say, we don't have it. Yeah, because it doesn't exist. Because the reason that you confessed was to get a better deal for yourself and to hang him. And that's exactly what I would argue. And a jury is going to be very sympathetic to that because the standard in a criminal trial is you have to show beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty. These two guys aren't going to cut it, especially in the lack of any other corroborating evidence to support what I believe is going to be an exaggerated, if not fictitious, account.
Now, you were pretty much spot on 100% when it came to, what was it, like was it the Betty? Not Betty. It was the Aiden Holloway situation. I mean, you called that out, I think, from like the first time we spoke about it, about how you saw that playing out and then, in fact, did that, proven Adam's credibility and his expertise as a lawyer. Adam, I know you mentioned the acquittal probably being, is there any other avenues that you could maybe see this going or could you see like charges dropped? I mean, what would have to for it to get to that point? What would be required for it to be dropped, not even go to, you know what I mean? Like, it sounds like you're thinking it still goes to trial, just he's acquitted, but is there a chance if they only have those confessions, it gets dropped, or you think they still try it? I mean, how does that process work, and what would be necessary?
I would be surprised if it gets dropped because given that this is Terrion Arnold, a famous athlete, the prosecutors, I think, would have dotted their I's and crossed their T's before they ever thought of charging him. However, I do think there's an outside chance, an unlikely but outside chance at a plea bargain, if the plea bargain results in a sentence of something along the lines of probation if they drop it down to a lesser charge. But ultimately what I see happening is with his attorney, I believe it's Tim Jansen, and Coach, you were right, it was 2 women, not men. I think it's going to go to trial, and Tim Jansen is a fantastic defense lawyer. And if all their evidence is the confessions of those 2 women, remember, those confessions don't exist in isolation. Those 2 women said things in interviews with the police. They probably said things to friends in letters or in jailhouse visits. If he uncovers one sentence that's inconsistent with that confession, it'll blow it all up.
Oh, wow.
And you got to look at that too. It's like, oh, you confessed. Here's your confession. But let's look at everything else you said, during that universe of time. What did you tell friends? What did you tell investigators before you confessed? If anything is inconsistent, their credibility is shot. And I suspect that will be one line of attack. The other line of attack will be this story just suddenly popped up after they were charged with a serious crime, but there's no documentary evidence, emails, texts, letters, nothing to support it. So it seems like a convenient out for them for a bad situation to make Terrion the scapegoat. That will be their argument. He will be acquitted within 3 hours by a jury of his peers.
One last question before we hit this time out, Adam. Again, we're joined by Adam Lamparello of Lamparello Law Education Advocacy, lamparello-law.com. You guys hear how he goes to bat for his clients, or I guess it's hypothetical here. But if you guys need that representation, whatever the situation may be, NIL, academic misconduct, any criminal defense matter, lamparello-law.com to get all that information. Schedule yourself a free consultation. Adam and his team will take great care of you, as you guys can clearly hear by what we're discussing right now. Adam, if you were representing Terrion, I know, again, we talked about the acquittal thing, but if they came to you and tried to get a deal done, how it sounds like you're pretty confident, at least where things stand, that if you were to go to trial, it would be probably, lead to an acquittal. But if they came to y'all and offered some type of plea that was just probation, as confident as you are in the lack of evidence that it would be an acquittal, would you lean towards just taking that deal just to play it safe? What would you recommend if you were representing him in that situation?
I would tell Terrion in no uncertain terms, you absolutely take the plea bargain, because we're not going to gamble with your freedom or your future.
Yeah.
You take the plea bargain. How about we have some lesser charge, like, I don't know, an accessory after the fact, maybe an accessory before the fact, something tangential that'll get him probation. And then he goes and plays and maybe goes to Pro Bowls and lives a wonderful life. We can't gamble if that good of a deal is on the table.
Is there, I said one last question, one more, sorry. This is always entertaining. I love getting your thoughts on all this. Is there any other charge you think that you said? So accessory, like, does that seem, what would be maybe some, I guess, things he could plead down to that would maybe be light enough to only have something like a probation or something that's not significant, like several years behind? So accessory, I mean, is there anything else you could think of? Because right now it sounds like they're just pinning this on him as him being the conspirator, him being the one that organized it. They don't think he did anything, but with him kind of quote unquote putting it, is there anything lesser in that realm that you could think of?
He can argue that he was an accessory after the fact, meaning that he didn't know this was going to happen the way it did, and that, yes, he participated in covering it up when it happened to try to protect his friends, but he was not an active participant either via agreement or through action. That would result in a much, much lesser sentence, if any sentence at all. He can also argue that the conspiracy charge should be dismissed because the actions of the co-conspirators went beyond the scope of the intended conspiracy, which is they had agreed maybe to go and demand his stuff back. But he didn't anticipate that they would cause any physical harm or anything like that. So they can argue as a matter of law that the conspiracy charges aren't supported by the facts. And what they want to do here is they want prosecution to have enough doubt in its mind where they say, you know what, this is going to be an uphill battle before a jury. Let's take what we can get and move on. If that doesn't work, they'll go full speed ahead towards trial, and the prosecution's going to have a serious problem because remember, there were 4 people involved and you only have 2 confessions. So about the other 2? How come they're not confessing? I would like to know what they have to say and what their conversations were. So there are a lot of lines of attack here. This is like Christmas for a criminal defense lawyer. So many different gifts to pick from. You know,
Oh, wow.
and you open each one of them up, and they say not guilty. It's wonderful, and I think that's what's built.
I mean, that sounds pretty positive coming from you, man. So I mean, you make me feel confident for him, man. That I mean, it probably makes sense why all this for these teams are comfortable and confident to be reaching out and potentially signing him so quickly. Because I'm sure what you're saying is probably what his lawyers telling these teams or anybody that may inquire about him or his services. And at least the way you're putting it, I mean, I think it does sound pretty optimistic, about as optimistic as it probably could in a situation that initially came out sounding as grave as it did.
Yeah, and another critical factor here is how Terrion himself will present before a jury, how his demeanor will be, what impression jurors will get from him. And from everything I know about him, he seems like a very smart guy, a humble guy, and someone who, has his SHIT together.
Yeah.
And I think how a defendant projects their image in the courtroom can go a long way, and I think it's going to benefit him tremendously.
No, he's a phenomenal young man, very charismatic. I mean, there's a reason he, garnered so much attention while he was here, right? The relationship with Miss Terry, I mean, smile lights up a room. So, I mean, in terms of that department, that factor, yeah, I think he can definitely check that box. It's so, this is why I really enjoy talking with you about these things, because it's like, when you listen to like the legal side of things, you just realize it's almost like, I don't even know if it's really, I guess I get it why it's innocent until proven guilty. That's not even so much like, hey, just out of respect to the person. Law just sounds like it's a game. I hate to say it like that, but it's really just like, can your defense, who wins? It's almost like a football game. You got an offense and a defense. Like
chess match.
Yeah, it's like chess. I mean, I hate to say that, but it doesn't even really seem as much of you being quote unquote guilty of a crime. It's just, can they prove that?
Exactly.
I mean, that's really kind of what it sounds like, but it is entertaining to learn about it. So we always appreciate you breaking it down for us that didn't take a bar exam or spend years in law school. We got to hit time out. When we come back, we'll keep on rolling. We'll talk some football as well. And if you guys have any legal questions, of course, you can ask Adam. We got him on right here hanging out with us on the show, but he also has a YouTube channel where he offers free legal advice at Lamparello Law. Check them out on YouTube as well. Of course, Lamparello-law.com is the website to go hire Adam for your own services. And hey, get this, all affordable prices. That's the big thing about Lamparello Law. They do it at affordable rates. Of course, you get great representation as you hear, but you'll be able to actually afford it, man. So make sure you guys check them out. Lamparello-law.com. We got to hit this time out. When we come back, we keep on rolling on this Thursday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393.
Run, Iron Warrior, volleyball, and the Cornhole Tournament. Visit ChoctawIndianFair.com and like us on Facebook.
Hope to see you there. Hachapisa Lajigit.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation
across the United States
and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers, trying to make a name for themselves. We are here for the achievers,
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors.
Keep AM radio in cars. Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text stop to stop. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Hey, this is Wyatt Fulton from Tide 100.9. Join us starting on July the 20th for SEC Media Days live from Tampa, Florida, presented to you by Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We'll bring you live updates, press conferences, and interviews from all 16 teams in the Southeastern Conference at SEC Media Days 2026 from Tampa, Florida, presented by Pearl River Resort. Join us starting July the 20th for a week of content from Tampa, Florida, live at SEC Media Days 2026, presented to you by Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino in Choctaw, Mississippi.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel, a specialty manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rentals. With a proven track record of over 30-plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more,
It's quick, it's easy, and it's free. Go to mylocalcustomers.com today.
That's mylocalcustomers.com. Mylocalcustomers.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Keep the water handy and stay cool heading into a scorching hot close to the week, and the hot temperatures persist through the weekend. Blazing sunshine, 92, light westerly breeze, clear and warm tonight, mild 74. Friday and Saturday even hotter, mid-90s, feeling like 105 with afternoon thunderstorm chances, and that trend continues right on through the weekend. I'm meteorologist Richard DeWetting for Town Square Media Tuscaloosa.
It's 90 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
From kickoff to the final whistle, we've got you covered. Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
Thursday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We're joined by Mr. Adam Lamparello of Lamparello Law Education and Advocacy, lamparello-law.com. Don't forget about the other services, high school, college, graduate students, right? Exam, test taking preparation, subject matter mastery, academic and career planning. They've got all that for you as well. So take advantage of those services that they offer on top of the representation that him and his team are looking to provide you all at affordable rates. Adam, I was going to ask you, I just thought about this when you were talking about the whole situation, Terron Arnold thing. Are there any similarities to you in terms, I know it's a lot different, but remember the whole O.J. Simpson case, not the original case, but the one in Las Vegas, where I believe someone was like auctioning his things. Now that was different because I think he was in the field, and no pun intended. I mean, I think he was the one doing the, I hate to say robbing or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, any kind of similarities you see out of that? Not in that context, maybe just the kind of, here you have an athlete trying to go and get their belongings, taking it upon themselves. I hated that form in that one. Again, I know not many people are sympathetic with the guy that allegedly murdered his wife. I get that, but I'm just saying, like, here's a guy that had his stuff stolen from him allegedly, and he's just trying to get his stuff back, and then boom, bad decision lands him behind bars for quite some time. I mean, it was a pretty lengthy sentence, I feel like.
32 years. The cases are factually similar, but they are not similar as an evidentiary matter. The reason is because O.J. Simpson was caught dead to rights on video camera, walking with the other two people in the hotel lobby towards the room. His two accomplices clearly stated he was there. There was video evidence of it. And you also had a dynamic in there. Again, it's these intangible dynamics in the courtroom. You had this dynamic that O.J. got off for the murder of Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman, and that they were going to get him back this time. And there was that kind of toxic culture. Now, Having said that, I do not believe that the penalty for armed robbery should be the same when someone is going to get their own stuff back that was taken from them. Yes, it's technically armed robbery. I get it. But there are extenuating circumstances here that differentiate it from the typical person who walks into your house, puts a gun to your head and says, give me all your jewelry.
Right.
You know? So I think that the sentence OJ got was way too long. It was due to a revenge factor for the not guilty verdict in Los Angeles, and he was rightfully paroled after several years by Las Vegas.
I hate to ask you this, man, but I mean, we're on the topic here. I'm sure you probably kept up with that original case.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally one of the most popular cases.
I was at USC at the time.
Really?
Yeah, I was an undergrad there.
Wow. Well, I have to ask you this, man. I mean, we're talking about it. I know, he's gone now, but what? I mean, from your lawyer background, I know you kept up with the case, and what did you take from that? Do you believe he in fact was in? I know he was proven innocent in the case, but I mean, what did you you probably saw all the evidence, the arguments. Yeah, I didn't get that deep. I just kind of heard about it. I mean, if you don't mind me asking, you don't have to answer if you don't want to.
I'm happy to answer. Two things. First, my opinion is that OJ was guilty, but not the way that most people thought. I think he did not go to Bundy Drive with the specific intention to kill her. I think they got into an argument and OJ lost his cool, and in a heat of passion, in a rage that OJ was famous for, killed both of them. I also believe there's credible evidence that he had a second person there that assisted him. And I say that because there are shoe prints that are not that do not match his Bruno Magli shoes that he was wearing. There's blood evidence that does not match either the victims or the perpetrators. But yes, OJ was guilty. But like I said, I think the way he did it was different. Now, as far as the trial goes, the reason that the prosecution lost was because they were out-lawyered and outmaneuvered by the defense. Number one, the prosecution put on DNA evidence that was thoroughly discredited by Barry Scheck and the experts for the defense. Number two, they tried to put on O.J. Simpson's glove in front of the jury, and it didn't fit. Number three, you had a racist detective in Mark Furman who was specifically found to have perjured himself and used racial epithets that to a predominantly African-American jury, particularly in 1994, 95 Los Angeles after the LA riots, was not going to be sympathetic to that. So it was a series of missteps by the prosecution that were capitalized on by a very brilliant defense team.
I see Jake mention the chat. I know this is another theory. I know we're going into the whole law thing. I love this, though, man. Listen, there's a little sports tied in here, but who cares, man? It's entertaining. I love it. The sun, there's been theories of people throwing that around. You mentioned maybe a second assailant or someone maybe involved or there. I mean, have you ever maybe thought about that with the people kind of lean into maybe the sun theory? I mean, what do you think about that?
There's been a few theories about the sun. One theory was that Nicole was supposed to go to his restaurant that night, and then she canceled late to go to Mezzaluna. Instead, he flew into a rage and killed her. The second thing is that after he killed her, OJ arrived on the scene late and covered it up to protect his son. But evidence eventually came out that Jason didn't do it and could not have done it because he was somewhere else at the time. Mm-hmm. I think this was one of OJ's close personal friends. I'm not sure who, but I don't think it was Jason. I think Ron Goldman was unfortunately just there at the wrong time. Just that was a case of worst case possible, being there at the wrong time. And I think he killed Ron Goldman first. Now, he knocked Nicole unconscious, killed Ronald Goldman first. They went back and slit her throat. That's why you saw that huge gash. But it was in a rage, and it was reflective of a relationship, unfortunately, that was terribly abusive and documented over time. And it's just a terrible tragedy. And it's sad that there was not a conviction, but it's an example of it's not just having great facts and great evidence. It's how you present it, how people perceive it. That's lawyering, and that's where you separate, the elite from just the good.
And that's exactly why you guys need to hire an elite lawyer like Adam Lamparello of Lamparello Law. Lamparello-law.com is the website. Definitely, you're 100% right, though. There is a big difference when it comes to that stuff, and that's why you guys get paid the big bucks, man, to represent people, because it's very important. If you have good representation, hire somebody that's affordable. Mr. Adam Lamparello would do that. Before we hit this time out, just a quick little note, man. My dad had his signed helmet growing up. Believe it or not, he had a signed helmet. I think they had, I don't know if he had got it from him or because, people trade stuff, or he just had it, just, sports memorabilia. And this was, I'm pretty sure he got it before all this, clearly. Mm-hmm. But, funny enough, I think my dad was so bad about just kind of not keeping up with things. I think we moved and he just left it somewhere, in a storage unit or something. And I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, now granted, that's probably a very controversial piece of sports memorabilia, but I would imagine that probably somebody would pay some money to own that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure my dad had a signed Bills helmet from OJ. If I remember, I need to text him to make sure, but I'm pretty sure he did, which is kind of crazy to think about now we're talking about this story. We got to hit this time out. And we come back, keep on rolling. We'll have one more quick little segment with Adam. And we'll keep rolling on this Thursday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more
new location, corner of Skyland East Boulevard and Palisades Drive. TuscaloosaMazda.com. TuscaloosaMazda.com. For details, visit TuscaloosaMazda.com.
From yesterday's legends to tomorrow's stars. Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
No one better.
The home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
Thursday Blitz edition. This is not a Tuesday, Thursday. What am I doing? Oh, the Miller's Edge. We're joined by Adam Lamparello. We got a few more minutes with it. We just were talking about some fun memories, man. We were talking about 2nd and 26. Hard to not choose that game, at least for me personally, because that was the question of my favorite moments. That one for me, again, playing a national championship game, winning one, getting a sack, it being a flu game. Just so many different factors. That one's up there. If I had to pick a second favorite moment, that one's just, I'll be honest, that one's so big that it's hard to kind of find a true second one that I'm just like, but like my senior year, I had a bunch of fun, just I mean, Ole Miss, I mean, I had like 3 sacks in the first half, but like that was more so just for me. Like I just had a great game. We beat them down, so it's not like, you know, 2nd and 26 was the game itself was exciting. Now it was just me kind of was going off that game.
Was that in Oxford your senior year?
Yeah. We played on the
year.
road. I want to say they scored like early, like they scored quick, and then that was it. There was nothing after that. It was, I think we ended up being like probably 50-something to 7. Like, I want to say, was it DK Metcalf? Maybe somebody. I think they hit, or maybe that. Yeah, I think that was that year. They like scored early, and then ended up just getting. It was a beat down, and hell, we pulled the starters like after the first series in the third quarter. So
yeah, I remember a play actually where you literally just ran through the offensive lineman, just boom, quarterback. Oh,
listen,
man.
and I hit the shark celebration because, you know, Ole Miss they were fooling around, changing their mascot a little bit. They ended up like sharks, and their players would do the fin. And so I made a sack and on Jordan Ta'amu, and I jumped up with the shark celebration. I quickly put it down because I remembered. I'm like, oh, I am tripping. That is taunting, and I don't want a penalty. And sure enough, later that game, Josh Jacobs did the same thing. But here's where he messed up. He scored. I think he scored. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he scored. I just remember when he did it, he was holding it up, and I think there was a player in the vicinity, and he held it too long. And when you score or you got the ball in your hands, a ref, you know, they're clearly watching you. He messed up, and Coach Saban let him have it. Me, I like made the sack, and when I jumped up, I did it, but I was kind of going forward. Like there was nobody near me technically. The quarterback was behind me. And then I put it down, and I was like, okay, I think I'm good. Nobody said it. They didn't say anything.
All right.
But it's different. I think guys can celebrate now. I don't think it's as big as I see guys doing whatever they really want to do in terms of celebration. With us, you could not get away with stuff like that.
Well, I remember one time when TJ Yeldon scored a touchdown, he went like this in the end zone.
Oh, yeah, you can't do that.
And then, but that year was unbelievable. But I don't mean to be a real big downer here, but we must always remember the Citadel.
Whoa. Wait, hold on. What is up with everybody? Adam, this is 2 days in a row now, because yesterday I had Corey call, and he was asking a question about, you know, some old games. And what did he say, Chase? He was like, you know, after being humiliated by Clemson in the championship game, and then later he was like, yeah, you know, they got the final blow. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, what did I do to Corey? He was just playing around. No, you're right, though. I mean, listen, shout out to everybody on the Citadel that year. You know, they had a couple guys I played high school ball with. They were the first team to score on us in the month of, was it November? I think it was November.
They did a crazy, wacky, crazy offense.
Well, I mean, and we planned and we prepared for it. We knew it was coming, but it was kind of one of those things, Adam, where we were just like, man, like they're running the wing tee, wishbone. They're going to chop, protect your legs, like whatever. But it's so different, like, you know, when you're facing it, you know, a scout team, like they're trying to run it, but the way these guys run, it's quick. And these guys are like, the way they chop block, they were like wrapping up our legs, like, which is holding.
Dangerous.
Refs, they don't call that though, because they're just like, oh man, you're Alabama, like figure it out. I'm like that's literally holding. Like it's just a different form of holding. You can't tackle people as an offensive person like that. No. You can't do that. That's what they were doing, and they were the first team that they'll forever be able to say they came to Tuscaloosa, faced big, bad, undefeated Alabama, and were the first team to score on it. I think we played LSU, Mississippi State, or we played a couple other SEC teams that month, held everybody scoreless except for the Citadel.
And then in the second half, it was an absolute massacre.
Yeah, well, because we got massacred in the locker room at halftime. I mean, Coach Saban blew a head gasket. Oh, yeah. Because that was uncared. I mean, we were playing bad. I mean, it could have been worse. But the reality was, I mean, it was, I want to say it was an early game, which
it was.
Early games are always tough. Yeah, I'll be honest, man. As a player, early games they're tough because pregame meal is at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Yeah. Like, who wants to eat steak and baked ziti or whatever it was we used to always eat at 8 o'clock in the morning? I mean, granted, you could go get eggs too. Like this, but you see what I'm saying? Like pregame meals, you wake up and you go directly to pregame meal, then you're getting on a bus to go to the stadium.
Yeah, I was at Ramadan watching it, and I was just like, it's too early. And I just kind of felt like how it must be so hard to get up for a game like that because they're just not on your level and it's early. So I made a bet with my friend that the game would be tied at half, and he said I was crazy. And then I said Alabama will murder them in the second half. And I called it. And you guys destroyed them. So all's well that ends well.
Yeah, well, I mean, it worked out for you. Yeah, like I said, halftime, yeah, we heard every bit of that one. But like you said, adding in a team that's not very competitive, it makes it. If you're waking up and you got, because we played SEC games at 11. Say it was like Arkansas or somebody. I mean, like, it's an SEC game. It's a little bit different. But when I'm sitting there waking up, eating pregame meal, and I know I'm about to play the Citadel, no disrespect to them because I think it's like a military school. Salute to the servicemen and women. I hate the Citadel, though. The school, the football team. I hate it. Ever since then, I'm just like, dude, because they were, oh, my God, they were celebrating like, which they should. But it seemed like we were getting trolled. It would be the equivalent of like somebody who just hides behind like, avatar, like no picture online. They just troll. That's what it felt like playing the Citadel. Between the wing tee, they're talking trash, doing uncharacteristic stuff. I was just like, bro, I feel like I'm getting trolled by like an internet troll right now.
And I didn't think there was any criticism that should have been made against us because it was just one of those scenarios where it's almost impossible to get motivated for these guys. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. They're not on your level. It's like the Citadel could have done the same thing to any top team in the country that weekend, and they would have got killed in the second half. But when you guys came out in the second half, man, that was dangerous.
It's just so unorthodox of an offense. It's definitely tough. But hey, man, like I said, credit to them. They first team to score on us in the month of November. Adam, before we let you run, man, anything you want to get off your chest? Anything we haven't hit? Anything you got? I know we got SEC Media Days coming up next week, so we'll talk about that for sure. Training camp right around the corner as well. I'm sure you're fired up for all those things, so we'll plan on hitting those then. But anything on your mind? Just ready for football?
Thanks so much for having me on. I can't tell you how ready I am for the season to start. This offseason has seemed like forever, so I think it's going to be a great year for Alabama and a very exciting one. So always great to be on the show, and I appreciate you giving me the time to come on.
Oh, of course. We appreciate you taking the time to do it. Always a fun segment when we get Mr. Adam Lamparello on of Lamparello Law, Education, and Advocacy. Adam, take care, brother. We'll talk to you next week, man.
All right. Have a great day.
Yes, sir. You too, brother. Good stuff, man. Our guy, Mr. Adam Lamparello. Always enjoy that. Hope you guys enjoyed as much as I do. Now, again, I grew up watching Law & Order, so I love that stuff, man. It's always very entertaining to talk legalities with Mr. Adam Lamparello of Lamparello Law, Education, Advocacy. We got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we wrap things up on this Thursday. It's the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
Tuscaloosa Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, Tuscaloosa's destination for iconic Jeeps. Owner loyalty earns $1,500 cash back on a new 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation
across the United States
and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers trying to make a name for themselves. We are here for the achievers
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors who are
Give Adam Services a call at 205-339-6540 or visit us at adamssvcs.com. Your local experts.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamparello Law, Education, and Advocacy. Founded by attorney and professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases. Known for real care and relentless advocacy. For guidance you can trust, call 201-317-5115 or visit lamparello-law.com. That's Lamparello Law, Education, and Advocacy. Proud partners.
Hey, this is Wyatt Fulton from Tide 100.9. Join us starting on July the 20th for SEC Media Days live from Tampa, Florida. Presented to you by Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We'll bring you live updates, press conferences, and interviews from all 16 teams in the Southeastern Conference at SEC Media Days 2026 from Tampa, Florida, presented by Pearl River Resort. Join us starting July the 20th for a week of content from Tampa, Florida, live at SEC Media Days 2026, presented to you by Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino in Choctaw, Mississippi.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on
On the Thursday edition of the game, we're going to have a chance to catch up with All-American offensive lineman Mike Johnson, radio host over in the Atlanta area. We'll talk with Mike Johnson. We'll have a chance to talk with Rodney Orr. Nick Kelly stops by. We'll talk Alabama Crimson Tide football. SEC Media Day certainly on our mind as we get ready for Tampa. Right here on the game, starting at 2 p.m. with Ryan Fowler on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
The longest-running sports talk show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. And streaming worldwide on the free Tide app.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Stay locked in, Tide fans. This is Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
Thursday edition as we wrap things up. Again, big thanks to our guests today, Brandon Clear, Adam Lamparello, Law Education and Advocacy. Always great having them join us on the show. We're closing things out now. We had one last question from Trevor. He was asking how impactful pregame speeches were. We were talking about some of the memorable ones, and good question there. I'll be honest. I don't think they're probably the biggest thing. Personally, I don't think they are, but I think for some people it might help a little bit. But I mean, like I was saying to the other question, I like the little ad-libs, right? I loved hearing Coach Cochran screaming and shouting, and then hearing the D-line screaming and shouting. And that, I think collectively, that was what really kind of got me fired up. Not necessarily one guy's words, but just like the environment, right? It felt like we were just a bunch of savages about to go to war. That's what I liked about it. That said, we got to get out of here. Big thanks to everybody who made it possible. Chase Norris, Behind the Glass, all you listeners, Tide 100.9, of course, X, Facebook, YouTube, all of our streaming platforms. We appreciate you guys. Look forward to doing it again tomorrow on a Free for All Friday edition right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.